All right, welcome back to episode number 2 of my little Ripple Effect mini series here. In this one, I want to talk about kids. And I think it's a very interesting dynamic because, much like your relationship with your spouse, your kids are immediately around you. But very differently, they don't have any income and they cost a lot of money. And now, the obvious thing to talk about here with money and how it affects your kids is how it affects your ability to buy them the cool new toy or whatever game console or take them traveling or any of that stuff. But I don't want you to think about it in that perspective of you and your kids. I want you to think about when you were a kid and how your parents' relationship with money affected you and what that made for your decisions growing up, right? Understanding it is one generation different, but it is the exact same thing here. When I was a kid, my sort of first real memory with money was I wanted a new baseball glove, but I wanted like a Wilson A2000 Y Web out, beautiful custom glove, all that kind of stuff. It was a few $100, and at the time, I didn't come from a poor family, but my family said, look, we don't budget that kind of money for you, and da da da. So you have to pay for it, or at least part of it. And that really instilled in me, okay, cool, well, I saved up for it and I did whatever, and then I gave them the cash and I said, here, this is what I want. And that instilled in me that I really like those big purchases and I like having the good quality thing. I had that glove for almost 20 years. It was to a point where I went to get it fixed and the guy said, dude, just buy a new one. It's going to cost more money to fix it. So that really changed my relationship with money, and that was because that's how my parents thought about it, right? So this is now, as we've grown up, this is our role with money, and it affects everything that our kids do and think about money, whether it's spending or saving, keeping cash or putting everything in the bank and then using a debit card, big purchases or lots of small purchases, same amount of money, right? But this is just how they think about it. And we need to take responsibility for the fact that we are building their relationship with money. And this is whether you think about money or not, you are building their relationship with money. And they're going to pay, and even if you don't think about money, you don't talk about money, you don't whatever, they're paying attention to that. And then when they grow up, they're going to say, well, my parents never talked about money, so I don't talk about money. I don't know how to talk about money. I don't know how to think about money because my parents never taught me anything about how to think about money. And then they're going to get out into the real world, right? And they're going to run into people and their friends, and they're going to have that rich friend, and they're going to be like, well, I don't know. We're not rich. They are. They got lucky. I didn't. That's just the way life is. And they're not going to go, well, I could save, and I could maybe my parents say to me, hey, look, I wanted to be insert a job, a bartender, and that only really makes so much money. And so I kind of topped out. So I don't have the ability in this career to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then they go, okay, cool. So now when I think about what I want to do for a living, I can think about money and how much money do I want to have? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live? I see what my rich friend is doing. I want some of that, whatever. And, very interestingly, you'll see a lot of like the pendulum swinging, right? Where a kid will come from a very poor family and go, I absolutely don't want this. I remember standing in line to get the free lunch, and it was very emotional for me, and I hated it. So I'm going to go the whole opposite direction, and my kids and me are never going to have to worry about this again. And they only focus on money, and they don't see the things that you could do with it that would not have such a reactive, I need to save every penny that I have and I can't spend it. Like, that was built by the environment that they grew up in. And so when you think about your kids and you think about how your relationship with money is, in my opinion, you should be educating yourself on it and talking to your kids about what is going on in the market. Even if you don't know, we have the internet and all of these powerful tools, and then you're going to pass that on, and your kids are going to grow up with it, and they're going to say, okay, this is interesting, or this is going, even if they hate math. Everybody hates math, except me. But if they hate math, they're going to go, you know what? I need to know this stuff, though, because it's going to affect what kind of car I can drive and what kind of house I can live in and all of that other stuff. So they're going to need to want to know and understand. And I think it's our job and our responsibility as the adults around them to really instill good values in them, or at least what we think are good values in them. And that is then going to ripple effect its way down into their life and how they grow up and the things that they can do and then what their kids see, and so on down the line, right? And you could literally, if you teach them the right money habits up front, change their entire life. I did a video on why you should invest for your kids. If you show them those investments and show them and tell them why you made the choices you made and why then they're gonna go, oh, cool. Not to mention the hundreds of thousands of dollars that will be waiting for them at retirement that will literally change their life. You want to talk about a ripple effect, literally change their life. You're instilling the values so that when they get that money, you hear about like people winning the lottery and then they go broke, right? It's because they didn't have the right values with money. But it's our job and the ripple effect of what we do with our kids to say, I need to set you up for success tomorrow. And that is the ripple effect of your relationship with your kids and how money, whether you like it or not, is playing a role. Thank you for watching. See you next time.